You're watching KRCR News Channel 7. At 5, get the facts right.
We start with the Carr fire here in the North State. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Weber.
And I'm Allison Woods. Firefighters facing numerous control objectives as they continue to battle the more than 173,000-acre fire. At today's fire briefing, officials say they are working to keep the fire north of Cottonwood Creek to Highway 36, south of Dog Creek Road, keep the fire east of Deer Lick Springs Road to Highway 3 to Highway 299 to Trinity Dam Boulevard, and finally to keep the fire west of Interstate 5. CAL FIRE says today the Carr fire is located in steep terrain with changing wind exposure. Timber fuels have continued to challenge firefighting efforts.
We also got a look at today's colored progression map of the Carr fire. As you look at it, the darkest red is the most recent activity. Yellow burned in the last couple of days. The pink and purple burned last week when the Carr fire broke out. So again, the latest fire activity that we're talking about is seen in the darkest red. CAL FIRE says containment remained unchanged overnight at 47%. The fire grew by about 3,000 acres to 173,000. More than 1,000 homes have been destroyed to date, and 191 have been damaged. Coming up at 5:30, KRCR News Channel 7's Megan Mackey will bring us the facts on what people can do if they did not have insurance. We'll hear from her in about 30 minutes.
And a live look tonight at the Sundial Bridge from our Turtle Bay camera. A red flag warning has been issued for parts of the North State, including the Carr fire. Meteorologist Rob Eldington is here with more on the critical fire weather starting tomorrow. Good evening, Rob.
Good evening, Allison. If you've tuned in over the last couple of days, we've talked about the fire weather watch, but earlier today, that fire weather watch was upgraded to a red flag warning. That red flag warning goes into effect at 2 o'clock tomorrow, all the way through 11 o'clock on Saturday. Now, not everyone in this red will see winds gusting up to 25 or even 35 miles per hour, but it will be breezy and gusty at times. And we're also tracking low humidity, especially in the middle to late parts of the afternoon. So please be extremely careful over the next few days. And a big concern for those ridge tops closer to the Carr fire. And then you'll also notice Modoc County, you have a red flag warning for tomorrow until 9 o'clock tomorrow, but a fire weather watch has been issued for Friday for the same thing, gusty southwest winds. Here's a look at the visible satellite. Again, it's not just the Carr fire, it's all the fires burning throughout California and even into Oregon that are producing smoke. You'll notice the Donnell fire taking off once again this afternoon. We'll zoom in closer to the Carr fire area, and you'll notice the smoke plume still producing quite a bit of smoke this afternoon. You'll also notice the smoke coming in from out of the south and southwest. That is smoke, of course, from the Mendocino complex. And a quick check of the AQI, Air Quality Index, red, unhealthy. So we are still seeing very unhealthy air throughout the North State. Please limit your time outdoors. Do not forget the mask. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Evacuations are still in place for parts of Shasta and Trinity. In Shasta County, Swayze Drive from north from Lower Springs Road to 299, Plaza Road at Platina Road, South Fork Road, Zog Mine Road, Jenny Bird Lane, Horse Canyon Road, and all residents west of Platina between Placer and Buell Road. Also still under evacuation, the community of French Gulch. All areas on South Fork Road from Zog Mine Road to South Fork, including the areas of Bender Road, Serenity Drive, Serenity Way, and Whiskeytown National Recreation Area remains closed, and evacuation still in place in Trinity, the Trinity-Shasta County line at Buckhorn Summit Road, west to Trinity Dam Road, all roads within the area north of Highway 299, that's Deadwood Road east of Trinity Dam Boulevard, and the Lewiston Turnpike east of Trinity Dam Boulevard and Trinity Dam at Trinity Dam Boulevard remain closed.
The Salvation Army will be moving to a new distribution facility for the Carr fire this weekend. They can't release the location information until they sign the contract for the new 60,000 square foot facility in Redding. But the Salvation Army hopes to have the new center open by this weekend. They expressed gratitude to Bethel for serving as a distribution center, but they realize the church needs to go back to normal. However, the Salvation Army says the new building does not have air conditioning, so they're asking for fan donations, as well as non-perishable food. They say the money raised during the Carr fire is already being put to good use.
We've already done over $80,000 just in gift cards out at the LAC Center from the Salvation Army. We're continuing to do work at the LAC Center. We're also opening up this distribution center, which is going to cost us some funds to be able to operate it. We need to pay utilities and stuff, so there's certain things we have to do there. We're also doing all the feeding out at these different sites, so all the operation of this, all the gas cost, all the stuff that's involved for this is huge. Plus, after the long-term recovery, some of that money is going to be spent in that area too, helping people with rent.
The Salvation Army says so far they've already handed out nearly 100,000 pounds of food from their center.
Allegations of insider trading in the spotlight tonight in Washington.
A congressman arrested for that and lying to the FBI. Coming up, how he did it and why his son may also face charges for trading large amounts of stock just days before it dropped by over 90%.
Plus, an arrest made for possible arson. The Holy Fire in Southern California, an eerie message a man sent to a fire official just before the fire started. Coming up on KRCR News Channel 7 at 5.
A place that entertains, uplifts, and inspires.
Since August 2nd, the local assistance center at Shasta High School has served more than 2,500 people impacted by the Carr fire. But they just announced after today, those seeking disaster assistance will have to do it at a new location. Brianna Haney visited the new location today and joins us live. Good evening, Brianna.
Good evening, Allison. The old Kmart on Hilltop will soon be the new location for Carr fire survivors to go to for assistance. Starting tomorrow at 9, the local assistance center will be called the Disaster Recovery Center, run by FEMA. Residents will be able to get information about disaster assistance programs and speak with representatives from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, U.S. Small Business Administration, and local agencies. The Disaster Relief Center will be open from 9 to 7 daily and is located at 2685 Hilltop Drive at the old Kmart. Reporting in Redding, I'm Brianna Haney, KRCR News Channel 7.
Thank you, Brianna. The Mendocino complex, still raging further into the Mendocino National Forest, has officially surpassed 300,000 acres with 47% containment. Meanwhile, in Southern California, more mandatory evacuations have been announced almost every hour for the Holy Fire. A man suspected of starting the fire is in custody. 51-year-old Forrest Clark is being held on a $1 million bail on suspicion of 2 counts of felony arson. He has reportedly been involved in conflicts in the neighborhood for years and sent an email last week to a volunteer fire chief saying, quote, "This place will burn." Clark also has a cabin in the heart of the fire, which was the only cabin that did not burn. The fire has scorched about 4,100 acres and is now just 5% contained.
New York Republican Chris Collins accused of tipping off his son with
KRCR News Channel 7, alerting you to dangerous weather.
Good evening, welcome back. And I've been showing this map for about a week now, and I love this map because it kind of gives you an idea of where most of the fire activity has been over the last 24 hours. And keep in mind, yesterday when we were showing this map, we saw nothing but yellow dots east of Lewiston. So that means we have gone more than 48 hours now without any heat just east of Lewiston. So that is really good news for this area. Of course, these yellow dots indicate heat that has been picked up since January the 1st. The fire started over 2 weeks ago, so Of course, there's going to be a lot of yellow dots on this map. These are the areas that are still seeing all the fire activity, all the heat being picked up by the satellites, this northeastern arm of the fire and the southwestern perimeter. So again, still a very active fire, but for the Lewiston area, again, no heat for more than 48 hours. Here's a look at the fire danger rating for tomorrow. This is for Thursday, and this is fuels plus the weather forecast, both live and dead fuels. And we have that red flag warning that goes into effect at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You'll notice some of the oranges and even these reds showing up. That's mainly for the foothills and ridge tops where we have extreme fire ratings for tomorrow. And that's for those gusty winds and, of course, low humidity. And keep in mind, fuels are still near record levels for this date. So that's why we're really concerned about any wind and, of course, low humidity. Here's a look at the visible satellite, not just the Carr fire. It's all the smoke from all the fires throughout California. You'll notice as I move off to the way so you can see this, you'll notice this is the Donnell fire, the smoke plume taking off, but that's just one of many smoke plumes. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. There's the Mendocino complex. So you'll notice how some of that smoke is going north and some of that smoke is going off to the east and southeast. If you look close enough, you can also see the smoke from the Carr fire taking off in the late afternoon hours and into the evening. Sustained winds right now, we've got south winds up the valley, south winds almost all the way through the entire Carr fire, maybe parts of the ridge tops, seeing some westerly winds right now. And then as we head to the overnight hours, winds dropping off, some northerly winds as you wake up tomorrow morning. Now let's take a look at the wind gusts. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow. You'll notice not too bad. This may be underdoing the forecast a little bit, maybe some gusts closer to 15, 20 miles per hour. Strongest winds in the mountains off to the east and northeast tomorrow. And that'll pretty much be the case again for Friday. Strongest winds north and northeast of the valley. But even for the valley, I do expect to see some gusts up to 20 miles per hour, if not a little bit higher, by this upcoming Friday afternoon as well as Saturday afternoon. Overnight lows, mid to upper 60s, a few spots near 70 for tomorrow morning. And your forecast highs, again, a very tricky forecast. This has been the case for about 2 weeks now. It's just really hard to forecast these afternoon highs because we have so much smoke in place. It's blocking so much sunshine coming in. We still saw some triple digits today, but our forecast highs continue to come under what we're forecasting. Chico, your 7-day forecast, red flag warning in place through the next 3 days. Weather alert days for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. A little bit cooler heading into this weekend and even into Monday, but still sitting at or even slightly above normal for this time of the year. Reading 103 tomorrow, 101 on Friday. Again, it's a tricky forecast to see if we can get up all the way up to that because of all the smoke. 99 for Saturday and Sunday, and still hovering near 100 degrees all the way through Wednesday of next week. We'll be right back.
You're watching.
Got it all, including
Summer celebration at Cousin Gary RV Center now. You're watching KRCR News Channel 7 at 5:30. Get the facts right.
Carr fire sitting at just over 173,000 acres tonight. Containment remains at 47%. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Weber.
And I'm Allison Woods. We get a look at today's color progression map on the Carr fire. Now take a look. The darkest red is the most recent fire activity. The yellow burned in the last couple of days, and the pink and purple burned last week when the Carr fire broke out. So again, the latest fire activity that we're talking about and looking at is the darkest red. Now CAL FIRE says containment remained unchanged overnight at 47%. The fire grew by about 3,000 acres to 173,522 acres. Now more than 1,000 homes have been destroyed to date and 191 have been damaged.
We have breaking news coming into our newsroom. We have just learned of another firefighter injury. This happened at 4:40. You can see a Black Hawk helicopter landing with a bump coming here, bringing in an injured firefighter to the Dignity Health Mercy Medical Center emergency room. He was rushed into the trauma room with service members at his side. We don't know much more yet. and there may not be any more information available until tomorrow. We will bring that to you as soon as we can.
Well, the Carr fire has left many renters and homeowners wondering what's next. KRCR News Channel 7's Megan Mackey is live in the Keswick area and joins us now. Megan.
That's right, Allison. Now, I'm currently standing just off of Iron Mountain Road in the town of Keswick, and as you can see behind me, the devastation is just the reality for all but 2 homes that are left standing in this area. Now, with many renters that are living here, a lot are unsure of where to turn to next without insurance.
It's going to take 1 to 5 years to rebuild in Reading, and we don't want to be without a home for 1 to 5 years.
Insurance or not, there are going to be losses. Sharon Cole, a homeowner in the Keswick area, built their home there 3 years ago and was insured but lost all of her property.
My husband's talked to a couple of our neighbors, and like 4 or 5 of them have already said that they're not going to rebuild. They're going to move out state, move into the city.
But even with insurance, she lost items that were priceless to her. The Samaritan's Purse sifted through the rubble today to try and salvage the items that were left behind.
This ring was given to me from my husband, and it was the ring that his mom had before she passed.
Priceless possessions worth more than what money could ever buy. Cole told me her insurance will pay for the damages, but that nothing can replace the original ring.
It's irreplaceable. It's just a family heirloom, and it has a lot of sentimental value to us, and it felt great to get it. It just was ecstatic.
But what about the people that aren't insured? A representative at the local assistance center says they are working hard to put the pieces back together for everyone in this time of need. The bright colored tents outside the school inviting Carr fire survivors to file a claim. And inside, many other organizations like FEMA, the Red Cross, and the Social Security Administration are available to assist everyone, insured or not, that are affected by this tragedy. Insurance but are in need of assistance. There are people currently at Shasta High School through the end of today until they move into their more permanent location in the old Kmart in Reading. Live in Keswick, I'm Megan Mackey, KRCR News Channel 7.
Thank you very much, Megan. The Shasta District Attorney's Office is warning residents of scams involving fraudulently filed applications for FEMA assistance. This also happened to some fire victims last October in Napa and Sonoma. Be aware that FEMA will not send inspectors to your residence unless you've filed an application for assistance, and they will not collect personal identifying information or bank account information at your residence. This information would only be requested when a person fills out the proper applications online or at the local assistance center. If someone shows up at your home saying they want to conduct a FEMA inspection and you've not filed an application for assistance, you should contact the Department of Homeland Security, Office of the Inspector General at 800-323-8603, or you can visit oig.dhs.gov. If you attempt to file an application for assistance but find that someone's already filed an application in your name, you should call the Disaster Fraud Line at 866-720-5721, and you can find more information at disasterassistance.gov. After improved conditions for the Carr firefight over the past few days, a shift in fire weather is expected tomorrow. This is a live look over Reading tonight from our Mercy Skycam, and meteorologist Rob Elvington is here with more. Rob?
Yes, thank you, Brent. Very concerned about those critical fire weather conditions tomorrow, all the way through Saturday. And of course, we're still concerned about all the smoke. Look at this. This is the GOES 16 satellite. We can show this on our weather system, but this is from the College of DuPage. And I like this because it has a natural background, so it's easier to pick out some of that smoke. You'll notice closer to Cape Mendocino, there's less smoke, even some clear skies over the ocean. Of course, this is all marine stratus, but all of this that you see right here, that is wildfire smoke. And if you look close enough, you can see some of those big plumes going up with the Mendocino complex fire off to our southwest. But even the Carr fire is still putting out some smoke plumes this afternoon. So again, you really need to limit your time outdoors. If you're outdoors for extended periods of time, definitely need to have those face masks on. Real quick, let's take a look at that red flag warning. Again, that red flag warning was issued earlier today. It goes into effect at 2 o'clock tomorrow, all the way to 11 o'clock on Saturday night. We're concerned about gusty south and southwest winds. Strongest winds will be on the ridge tops. And for Modoc County, your red flag warning goes all the way through 9 o'clock tomorrow night, but there's a fire weather watch for Friday that may be upgraded to a red flag warning. We're also concerned about gusty winds and low humidity. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Rob. Now, we're living firsthand the unrelenting wildfires out here in the North State, but across the West, multiple fires continue to burn. Firefighters from around the world are now joining the firefight. ABC's Danya Backus has more.
On the ground, a fire NATO swirling amid the holy fire in Southern California. From the sky, a devilish plume of smoke lingering above the more than 6,000 acres it has now burned. Wednesday, officials saying they arrested 51-year-old Forrest Clark for starting that fire.
This shouldn't be called the Holy Gym Fire. This should be called the Holy Hell Fire.
On the front lines, firefighters are stretched thin, many working 24-hour shifts. 14,000 of them trying to control the 17 wildfires raging across the state.
Mother Nature is undefeated.
The fire scorching over 600,000 acres, reducing more than 2,000 homes and structures to rubble.
There's 10,000 people that are evacuated.
Those told to leave, grabbing what they can, waiting to see if their homes also escaped the fire.
I don't really know how I'm dealing with it yet because I just don't know. I don't think it's impacted me completely.
The rush is on to get animals out of harm's way, too. The Mendocino Complex fire now burning for a 12th day, the largest in state history, charring at least 450 square miles. That's nearly the size of Los Angeles. This map from the National Weather Service showing how smoke from the wildfires in California has spread over most of the West. The arson suspect now held on a $1 million bond. There's no telling how long this firefight will continue. In California, we haven't reached peak fire season yet. Danya Backus, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A local retired couple spent their lives saving animals and helping others.
But their dream home was no match for the Carr fire. Coming up, the message they have for the firefighters who tried to save their home.
And several businesses are still committed to helping the community hit hardest from the Carr fire. That's coming up on KRCR News Channel 7 at 5:30.